Texas A&M won the toss and deferred, so this is what they were anticipating, receiving the opening half kickoff in a tight football game. Dustin Harris from the middle of the end zone will bring it out. Harris crosses the 20 to the 27, flag down on the play.
Really clean first quarter, no penalties. Started to get sloppy in that second quarter.
This is on A&M. It will be the third against none for K-State.
During the return, personal foul, face mask, receiving team, number 81. At the distance to the goal, first down.
That is the second penalty against Hicks. He has 2 drops. Our Pacific Life game summary. The quarterback matchup between Tannehill and Collin Klein, 2 very different quarterbacks.
We've seen a few drops, unfortunately, for Ryan Tannehill. A lot of excellent movement plays, and for Collin Klein, 80%, you'll take that every day. And as I mentioned earlier, 20 rushing yards on 14 hard-earned carries. 2 more touchdowns to give him 21 on the season.
Aggie football, Ryan Tannehill, the senior from Big Spring, Texas, out in West Texas, handing off on first down. Cyrus Gray straight ahead across the 25. The safeties Hartman and Zimmerman combined on the stop.
Outside stretch zone play, and Cyrus Gray a number of times this afternoon, double-digit runs. You can feel that zone open up, that crease, gets his foot planted in the ground, as I said, uses what he has as the greatest gift, that speed, to get north and south.
Tannehill punts over the middle, caught. Another first down for the Aggies. That's Michael Lamoth, the junior from Louisiana. Ryan Tannehill from Big Spring, Texas. That's out near Sweetwater. A lot of Texas Tech fans. Both parents went to Texas Tech. He's converted a lot of folks around Big Spring into Aggie fans. He told us earlier this week. Cyrus Gray gets it again on first down. Mike Sherman telling us Cyrus Gray gets better with more carries. Certainly did last year when he got a lot more carries down the stretch with Michael out.
Strong, powerfully built, and backs that get better with carries start to feel those zone runs out. There's a sense of timing to those runs, when exactly to square your shoulders and get upfield.
Tannehill audibles from under center on 2nd and 5.
Should be a run with 2 safeties.
Play action. Tannehill throwing back. That's the tight end Hicks, who is upended by Ty Zimmerman, the sophomore safety.
Want to influence those linebackers. The run action certainly does that. Got to count on your safeties to come up and secure those tackles against offensive players that outweigh you by 30, 40, sometimes 50 pounds. Well done by Zimmerman.
Showers in at quarterback. Jameel Showers has stood up. On 3rd and 2, he did not appear to get a yard. Lemur there on the stop, the senior from West Palm Beach, Florida. So the Kansas State defense holds. Aggies will punt from around the 30.
You realize the last 2 weeks, Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, Kansas State just 1 3-and-out forced in both of those ball games.
A couple of tremendous offenses. A&M's very productive as well. There's a flag down.
Illegal substitution, 2 many men on the field, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
That's 4 penalties against Texas A&M, none for Kansas State.
The number of those in the special teams game, an area you can't afford to make mistakes, even when Kansas State is without their big play weapon. Tyler Lockett, a lacerated kidney, has not played today. There's personal foul penalties, the face mask penalty, and legal substitution penalty. You're playing into the strength of Bill Snyder's groups, especially in special teams, where you can't afford to give them that yardage.
Jermaine Thompson backing up on this punt. Fair catch, has it at the 20. Tyler Tyler Lockett has become one of the impact players for Kansas State, but suffered an injury on this play. Third touchdown pass of the season, third quarter last week in Stillwater against Oklahoma State. A lacerated kidney. He is out for the season.
315 all-purpose yards as he fought through that injury. Bill Snyder's coached his father, Kevin, his uncle, Aaron. That's a significant loss today because special teams, such an important part of what Bill Snyder does in his program.
Colin Klein, a pair of rushing touchdowns in the first half for the Kansas State quarterback. From Loveland, Colorado. As a school record, 21 rushing touchdowns on the year. On first down, Sheldon Smith wrestled down at the 30 after a gain of 8. Terrence Frederick on the stop.
It's hard to tell just how much that shoulder is hurting him through his throwing motion. Now 9 of 11. It's a little bit of a slow delivery by nature anyway. It's not as if he's picture perfect and clean and crisp in that delivery. And as of now, the numbers speak for themselves. Been very accurate this afternoon.
On second and short, Klein again, sneaking his way through to move the chain.
On the carry for Kansas State, 7.
Let's go back to the play before that throw to Smith.
As I said earlier, not the most natural passer. He's gotten better as the year has evolved. It's a little bit longer delivery than you see from Tannehill or the other side, or certainly the stars in this league, Whedon and Jones and Robert Griffin, that throw it all over the yard. But I have seen improvement. When we were here 5 weeks ago against Missouri to where we are now, the numbers speak for themselves. Klein and his receivers getting more and more comfortable, more adept in the passing game.
Klein to throw again on first down, leaving it land for Harper, incomplete. Harper tangled up with Terrence Frederick, the senior corner from Katy High School.
Part of the reason you're #1 in America in time of possession is you put together significant long scoring drives, which is exactly what Kansas State did, especially as they were on that 7-game win streak earlier this season. 22 scoring drives this year for Bill Snyder's Wildcats, over 60 yards. Exactly what he wants here to open the third quarter.
Keeper for Klein on second down. Gain. This looks like 3rd and 9 for Kansas State on the first possession of the second half for the Wildcats. 7-2 on the season, 4-2 in the Big 12. This is how they've gotten there.
Very different than many of their peers in this conference and up-tempo teams in college football. That time of possession, you have to do it with the way that they're composed and built. Wins by 7 points or less should be no surprise. One of the real strengths of Bill Snyder, he's seen a lot of football. He knows how to manage games, and especially when they have leads, either at halftime or out of the third quarter, very tough to overcome here in Manhattan.
Klein forced to throw on third down, dropped at the 35 by Hubert. At the 45, rather. Would have been a first down and more for the Cats.
Well, put the analyst hat on. You know exactly what happens here, Mr. Blackburn.
The wheel route out of the backfield for Hubert there. He's looking upfield,
exactly
perhaps
right.
Looking for the safety, Brock. And
got to finish. Got to look it all the way in. That is spot on, by the way. Good analytics. Take your eyes off the football, risk big drops, and that's an enormous third down miss that could have picked up another 15, 20 yards after the reception point.
that was the nickelback, Lionel Smith, who was coming over the top. Good kick from Doran. Bouncing inside 10, it will trickle into the end zone for a touchback. Tannehill and the Aggies get it at the 20, trying to regain the lead in the Little Apple. Version this year for Texas A&M. Gray. Stopped short. Kansas State holds, and the Wildcats get the football with a chance to take the lead in the third. A fourth down stop by Kansas State. gives the Wildcats the football in a tie game, 14-all. 2003 and 11-win season for Bill Snyder and the Wildcats. 7-2 entering this game against Texas A&M, third place in the Big 12. That potentially could mean a trip to the Cotton Bowl. And here's the first penalty of the day against Kansas State.
Full start. Offense. Number 70. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Let's go back to the fourth down stop by K-State.
Get in those situations, always penetration, blows up short yardage runs. Look at Adam Davis, 97. He takes Jake Matthews, the son of Bruce Matthews, into the backfield, the fullback. Adam Davis, tremendous job blowing that play up before it could get started.
Texas A&M led this game 14-0 in the second quarter. A pair of rushing touchdowns. K-State QB Colin Klein even the score. Klein ridden out of bounds here by Hunter. There is no flag for late hit out of bounds as the K-State sideline and fans were calling for it.
And oftentimes when that contact is initiated inbounds, as it is there, and Hunter by no means throws him. I agree with that call. You don't see any extra force there as they're going out of bounds. Initiates that contact on the playing field. That's a good call.
But a pair of negative plays. The penalty and then the loss there by Klein. Make it second down at 18. That'll be a sack officially by Trent Hunter. Room to run this time, but he pitches it to Hubert, who gets back to the 45, making it third down and about 9 yards. Jonathan Stewart on the stop.
In week 2, Klein's running that ball. In week 10 of this season, he's saying to Mr. Hubert, you take the punishment. I guarantee early in the year, Colin Klein, a first-year starting quarterback, made a few starts to end last season. But this has been a tough year on him. Tim DeRuyter's gotten after Klein today. That's the wise thing. Gives the ball to his running back.
3rd and 9, Kansas State playing without the go-to wide receiver, Tyler Lockett, true freshman, to become a big playmaker for him out for the year. 3rd and 9, Klein completes. Kansas State converts. That's the tight end, Andre McDonald, who gets to the 40.
A really nice pickup for Kansas State's offensive line. We don't give them near enough credit. Klein scores the touchdowns, but in the 3rd and extra long situation, look at the blitz. Look at the linebackers shooting the gaps. You get a helmet on a helmet. You give Klein and afford him the opportunity to allow his big fella. That's all 6'8", 275 of Andre McDonald in the open field to move the chains.
And look at the clock now in the 3rd quarter. Under 5 minutes. Kansas State just the 2nd offensive possession. And yet the Wildcats leading the clock. Headed towards the 4th, where they have been able to win the tight games in the second half, while Texas A&M has lost so many of those second half battles.
It's been up and down on first down, but by and large, and those points have been scored on drives where they've had success on first down, like that last play. You can win with 5.9 yards a play. The field position, it's been back and forth. I think conservative without their star Lockett. And the hits on the quarterback, they're starting to add up. You see the bandaged elbows from Mr. Klein.
Klein throwing on second down. It's intercepted. And this is Terrence Frederick, who will take it back to the 30. Cutting back inside the 15. Frederick grabbed down at the 10. Game-changing play by Terrence Frederick, who had one of the biggest plays of the year for the Aggies on special teams when he returned a block kick versus Texas Tech, 63 yards for a touchdown. Interception here, and he nearly took it back.
First interception of the season from Terrence Frederick. The Aggies with just 4 all year long. Bill Snyder telling his still young quarterback, I think you even hear sorry there from Colin Klein, not realizing the big picture, not seeing the corner come up in cloud coverage, jump that hitch route. Now let's see if Texas A&M can take advantage of a very rare takeaway by their defense.
Second of the day by the Aggies. Gray on 1st and goal. Gray slipping behind his blocker. Cyrus Gray into the end zone. Touchdown, Texas A&M. And the Aggies regain the lead in what has been, as you said, Brock, a quarter of doom for Texas A&M.
The script has gone the other way for Texas A&M. It's been their turnovers. It's been the opponents taking advantage of their mistakes. And this time, for one of the rare opportunities this season, the defense changes the momentum, gives you a short field. As you see Tyson Hartman down on the field, the safety, the senior safety for Kansas State.
And Bill Snyder walking out there to check on Tyson Hartman. Texas A&M intercepted SMU on the first 2 possessions of the year. This is the first game since that opener that Texas A&M has had 2 takeaways in a game. Question of whether Cyrus Gray got in the end zone on the touchdown. So the replay booth is taking a look.
He does look like he gets stronger. And how about the block outside? The devastating blow there from the senior receiver, Jeff Fuller, came in. He's the one who laid the physical shot on Tyson Hartman that put him down. And Gray, just like his coach said, stronger as more carries come his way.
Touchdown, Texas A&M. Aggies regain the lead in the third quarter. Terrence Frederick, the senior from Katy, Texas, with the second big pick. Second big takeaway of the day for the Aggies. And like the fight song says, rough, tough, real stuff, Texas A&M.
Alabama has to be what Kansas State needs to be right now, and that is resilient. Put a bad play, put a bad loss behind you, persevere and respond.
Jermaine Thompson from the end zone. Thompson will be wrestled down around the 13-yard line. Cyrus Gray, 99 rushing yards and a touchdown now for the Aggies.
His head coach said he gets stronger with carries. He did not want to minimize the loss of Christian Michael, but he did want to highlight what Gray was capable of doing it, and we're seeing it here as this game evolves. Number of double-digit runs, little wasted motion. Look at the shoulder pass, look at the leg drive. Closing in on a 100-yard day.
And Cyrus Gray today has gone over 3,000 career rushing yards for the Aggies, already over 6,000 all-purpose yards in his Texas A&M career. Colin Klein, an interception last time Kansas State had the football. Back to the running game. John Hubert to the 28 before Tony Hurd Jr. makes the stop. 99 rushing yards now to take him over an amazing 3,000-yard mark for the senior from DeSoto, Texas. A pipeline of players from DeSoto like Vaughn Miller and Garrick Williams. Aggies miss Vaughn Miller in the middle. Land on the outside and everywhere. Wilson goes in motion. On the reverse, Harper reverse it again for Kansas State. Thompson dropped. Minimal gain. Let's check in with Robert. Thought to be the biggest test of Boise State's schedule after that win over Georgia. Now the SEC East champion. Reference ESPN.com article this week from Brock Hewitt, folks. To pass on second and 14, heaves it long for Harper, hauls it in. Flag on the play. Harper makes the grab anyway. What a terrific throw and catch, Klein to Harper.
That's going to be, I believe, pass interference against Texas A&M, hand fighting all the way down the field. That's why Harper was our impact player against Lionel Smith. You know you're going to get one-on-one opportunities, and Colin Klein makes them pay that time, keeping the go route inbounds.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Pass interference, defense, number 3. Penalties decline. Holding, defense, number 94, also decline. Result of the play, first down.
The Aggies have done a nice job, by and large, stopping the Kansas State run. They've committed a lot of bodies to do so, and when you do that, you're going to leave your corners out there on an island. And as a quarterback, when you have a receiver you trust out there, as Klein and Harper are developing that trust, just give him a chance to make a play.
48-yard pickup on the play from Klein to Harper, making up for the interception in return by Frederick. Well, he'll make it up if he gets in the end zone. Colin Klein keeping it again on first down. Under 2 minutes to go in the third.
Enjoy talking some football, as I always do with these coaches, and Tim DeRuyter there for Texas A&M. And I said, well, this isn't the most complex scheme. They're pretty vanilla. And he stopped me in my tracks and said, what are you talking about? This Wildcat scheme. What they do with their quarterback, they typically outnumber many defenses, and it forces you defensively to commit enough bodies to stop in the run. And the follow-up question is then, well, doesn't that leave you vulnerable outside? And it does. Colin Klein, as he's growing as a passer, is going to become even more difficult to contend with.
Klein, keeper on second down, slips out of the tackle for Moore. Only gets about a yard to make it third down for Kansas State from just outside the 25. So, like you hear throughout the day on just about every game, every time you get to third down, a critical third down. But this is a critical third down.
Especially coming off a momentum-turning play. When you throw nearly a pick six, the next play turns into a touchdown as a quarterback, you know you have to respond. This third down would go a long way to putting that interception behind you.
From here on the edge of the kicker Cantelli's range. So, trying to get at least 4 yards for a field goal, but not convert. Third and 6. Klein, pressure. Klein will roll away from the pressure. Colin Klein has a first down inside the 20. Klein knocked out of bounds inside the 10. First and goal, Kansas State.
Texas A&M overloads the left side. Klein at the line of scrimmage gives his line time to see the blitz, to react to it. Braden Wilson does a nice job, the fullback, sorting through the blitz, and then Klein plays to his strengths, extending the play. He may not be a 4-4 guy as you see little Tremaine Thompson come in and deliver a blow at the end. In those situations with green grass in front of him, he makes it pay.
Play to not get off before, well, there is a flag on the play. Also end of the quarter.
There is no foul on the play. That's the end of the third quarter.
Just like the script, we go to the fourth quarter in Manhattan in a tight game between the Aggies and Cats. Kansas' first play of the fourth quarter is first and goal for Colin Klein and the Kansas State Wildcats. Raised a 14-0 lead earlier by Texas A&M. Trying to get in the end zone to even this one. Line inside the 5 to make it second and goal. Both touchdowns today for Kansas State on rushes by Colin Klein.
22 rushes on the day now for the Big 12's leading rusher when it comes to carries. Fourth overall, over 200 carries. And the pounding on that 6'5", 225-pound frame evident every time he gets off the ground.
21 rushing touchdowns on the year for Klein. Dropping to throw on second and goal, incomplete, intended for Travis Tannehill, but he was interfered with in the end zone. Will be first and goal all over again for K-State.
Pass interference, defense, number 3. That foul occurred in the end zone. We place the ball at the 2-yard line, automatic first down.
The Aggies did a nice job of not biting on the play-action pass, but Lionel Smith is going to grab hold of the big 6'8" tight end, and anytime Tannehill, just 6'4" and tight end. Anytime those referees see the arm around you, it's going to drive a flag.
First and goal, Klein leans in. Touchdown, Kansas State. Third rushing touchdown of the game for Colin Klein. 22nd of the season. K-State and BAT away from tying it in the fourth.
Sometimes football can be very complicated. You get into schemes and pressures and blitzes, and other times football can be so simple. At 6'5", 225 pounds, excellent push between your guards and your centers. And just use your big drink of water to fall into the end zone for now, the 22nd time of the year.
Even at 21, as Colin Klein has his third rushing touchdown of the day. Take a look now at today's Good Hands play, brought to you by Allstate.
It's been a couple interceptions, big ones on both sides. That by Nigel Malone, when the Wildcats were down 14-0. This one from Terrence Frederick, and Kansas State really had momentum and control of the ball game. It's been back and forth. Both teams have been resilient. Both have responded. Exactly why we're sitting here in the fourth quarter in really a fantastic game, tied at 21.
No surprise we're here, are you? Minute into the fourth quarter, 21-all.
Not really, and no surprise that these teams are playing the way, in large part, they have through 9 weeks of this season. You know what Kansas State's going to do. They're going to run it with their quarterback. He is 66% of their offense. He's now accounted for, did you see this? 31 of their 36 touchdowns. And for A&M, there's parts of their game you just love. There's other parts where they hurt themselves with penalties, like they have on a number of kickoff returns that you just scratch your head.
End zone again. Harris finally dropped at the 25. Our Pacific Life game summary, 21-all between Texas A&M and Kansas State. What stands out?
Klein's total yards and the rushing touchdowns, he played to your strength, and I want to see a lot of Cyrus Gray. 16 rushes, 99 yards. He's got to be north of 20, and if he gets to 25 carries this afternoon, I think you better the chances for Texas A&M to finish on the road.
Gray behind Ryan Tannehill on 1st and 10. Play action. Tannehill down the seam, batted in, complete. Intended for Wachiku. Alan Chapman, the junior nickelback from San Francisco, knocks it away.
Mike Sherman trying to turn the momentum right back over. Big play action pass down the field. Dangerous there as multiple defenders. That's why the Wildcats have picked off 15 balls. They play sound and get a lot of points around the football.
Cyrus Gray out of the out. To make it 3rd and about 4 for Texas A&M. Lemur there on the stop.
It's the first guy brought him down this afternoon.
I don't think one time. Don't be surprised to see Gray again on 3rd down and 3. Gray out of the backfield, stretching near the stick. Chapman makes the stop. There's the first contact on Gray, and Chapman makes a tremendous tackle to force 4th down and a yard.
You take your chances. Games about matchups so many times. You get your player one-on-one out in space against the nickelback, and you're right through Cyrus Gray, and that's going to be close. Gray almost looks like he extends that ball. And we are going to look at this under replay.
Short of the line to gain.
And remember, the Aggies are 1 for 7 on 4th down this year.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands.
That announcement made during the break, meaning this is 4th down and 1. Texas A&M brings the punt unit out. But you would certainly be looking for a potential fake here. or a straightaway punt right down the middle of the field. Epperson hangs it high. Fair catch caught by Tremaine Thompson at the 25. Even 21-all between the Aggies and the Wildcats. Getting you set for Saturday Night Football, presented by Southwest Airlines. A top 10 clash. Number 7 Oregon, number 4 Stanford. And Brock, as you pointed out earlier, people think throw it all around the field with Andrew Luck, and well, Michael James runs it anyway, but 2 rushing teams who go about it different ways, and those are the stars to keep an eye on tonight.
I said earlier this game would be decided in the 4th quarter. I really believe the Ducks and the Cardinal are going to go down to the wire. Mike Riley a week ago made a good point when we were out there in Corvallis about Stanford. He said you have to finish. Well, it's the same conversation about Oregon, same conversation today with Kansas State. You've got to find a way in the Aggies to finish late in the 4th.
Fine Schubert out the backfield, stretching near the 29. Check in with Robert. All between Texas A&M and 14th ranked Kansas State, and what will be the last meeting between these two as members of the Big 12. Fumble the football. Aggies appear to recover. Frederick, who had the interception, recovers the fumble. Aggies have it inside the 30. So a Texas A&M defense that had 7 takeaways all year against the Kansas State team, who would not turn the football over. 3rd takeaway of the day by the Aggie defense.
And a defense that's built on pressure, that's built on attacking people. The fact that they had just 7 turnovers on the year, no doubter about that one. Hubert's knees not down. A real surprise, been a real problem for Texas A&M to not take the ball away. The Aggies made Kansas State pay earlier with the interception. Can they do it again?
But first,
was a Kansas State fumble. That ruling is under further review.
and while the replay booth has a look at what was ruled a fumble, we'll step aside. Versus Wildcats on the football field. Number 2 A&M versus number 7 Kansas State in the equestrian event yesterday. Texas A&M won.
Down to the wire.
Kansas State has won 3 national championships. A big win for Texas A&M. The ruling on the field stood. Fumble by Kansas State. So Texas A&M football. Cyrus Gray, minimal gain on first down. Let's go back to the fumble.
Yeah, I don't think there was any doubt about it. I think it was Sean Porter, number 10, at the end of the line of scrimmage here. Actually, his helmet that helps create now the 3rd takeaway by the Aggies. Remember, a unit and a team this year with just 7 through the first 9 games.
Frederick got that fumble recovery. So Terrence Frederick has the big interception in the 3rd with a 57-yard return and then recovering that fumble forced by Porter.
Coming into this afternoon, Kansas State plus 11 on the season in that ever-important turnover ratio. Texas A&M, one of the worst in America, at minus 10. And as I said earlier, Mike Sherman knows this. With a unit like they play defensively, Tim DeRuyter's group is physical. Their tackles for loss, they're 3rd in America in sacks. Usually, when you play defense that way, takeaways are a natural reaction. They've not come this year to really hurt the Aggies. It's been a big factor as to why this game is tied today, and Tim DeRuyter's hoping this Aggie offense can capitalize once again, as I mentioned, on the 3rd takeaway this afternoon.
Raphael Guidry was the injured Kansas State Wildcat helped to the sideline. Ryan Tannehill, the senior from Big Spring, Texas, under center. Tannehill pressure, rolling with room to run. Tannehill inside the 20. Tannehill makes it 1st and goal, Texas A&M.
Tannehill doing his best, Colin Klein, and saying, you know what, Colin, I was a pretty good receiver here back in the day, an unblocked edge defender there. He pump fakes and shows why just a couple years ago he actually had over 200 yards receiving against Kansas State.
And another injured Wildcat. That's Emmanuel Lemur, the senior strong side linebacker.
Been a physical game. Both teams running right at each other. A lot on the line today. I referenced that in the open. An underachieving group with Texas A&M 5-4, Kansas State overachieving at 7-2. A victory for either team would go a long, long way.
And you would think if one of the Big 12 teams plays for a national championship, the second place team of the Big 12 would be in another BCS Bowl, meaning that the Cotton Bowl could be on the line today between Texas A&M and Kansas State. Now, the third place team does not automatically get that bid to the Cotton Bowl. Cotton Bowl has a selection. Texas A&M was there last year against LSU.
I believe the Aggies and the Longhorns tussle at the end of the year as well.
Oh, yeah.
For the last time in how many years?
Well, for the foreseeable future, anyway, with Texas A&M off to the SEC. First and goal for Ryan Tannehill and the Texas A&M Aggies. Cyrus Gray straight ahead into the end zone. Touchdown, Texas A&M. And the Aggies regain the lead in the fourth.
Right behind their best offensive lineman, Jake Matthews. Showed him earlier today on a 4th and 1, getting beat with some penetration. Not that time. The right side of the line caves down the edge. You pull your offensive guard. That's old school power football. And Cyrus Gray showing just like he did a year ago. You give me the number of carries, I'll be your feature back, and I'll be productive just as he's been today.
Randy Bullock's PAT makes it 28-21. John Hubert, the sophomore running back, fumbles the football for Kansas State, flipping the script. Texas A&M gets a takeaway on defense, turning into points on offense. Aggies up by a touchdown in the fourth. On this Veterans Day weekend, we want to take just a moment to honor the veterans who are part of our crew, our production team. Tom Mirabella, United States Navy. Mo Jorge Kess, United States Marines. Park Seward is in the truck. He's making us all look good, and we want to thank those gentlemen and all of the veterans here on Veterans Day weekend. One touchdown game in the fourth quarter here in Manhattan, Kansas at Bill Snyder Family Stadium. A pair of Kansas State turnovers in the second half has turned into a pair of touchdowns for Texas A&M. 7 points lead. Jermaine Thompson with a nice return across the 35 to near the 40. We check in with Robert.
All right, Carter. Oklahoma State has beaten both of these teams, and Brandon Weeden, certainly a fine candidate for the AT&T All-America Player of the Week. 5 touchdowns in the Cowboys' win against Texas Tech. 423 yards as the Red Raiders get pounded at home, 66-6. You can text vote to 55862. Oklahoma State takes on Iowa State Friday on ESPN.
Preseason poll, Texas A&M was 8. Oklahoma State was 9. Cowboys might play for the national championship. Texas A&M trying to keep a winning record. 5-4 right now, so bowl eligible with a victory today at Kansas State. Colin Klein and the Wildcats hoping to have something to say about that. DeMontre Moore gets the sack there on Colin Klein. So we mentioned bowl eligibility, a possibility for Texas A&M getting the 6 wins. They would be bowl eligible. The Cotton Bowl is a possibility for Texas A&M and Kansas State, that third bowl selection from the Big 12.
Got to finish strong. That's what they did a year ago when they really caught fire. Tannehill came in. Cyrus Gray was fantastic. They win 6 in a row to end last season to get them to that Cotton Bowl. And they still have Texas in a couple weeks. Iowa State, they finished this one strong. That wouldn't be without question.
Klein from the shotgun on second down. Pressured again. Slipping away from the pressure, and now Klein trying to get to the outside. Moore finally catches up with him around the 45. Sean Porter brings the pressure. So a reminder about these bowl affiliations. This is, if a Big 12 team goes to the national championship game, then there would be another Big 12 team going to the Fiesta Bowl. And then AT&T Cotton Bowl, that's the next selection. Don't necessarily have to take the third place team from the Big 12, but that's a possibility.
And you're really looking at Texas A&M and Kansas State, I think, right now in position, and we'll see who can grab hold of that opportunity to get to that very prestigious bowl game.
Heaves it. Incomplete. That's an incomplete pass, so Klein was pressured. Saw an outlet man and tried to shove it there. Porter brought the pressure on Klein again.
And when A&M can get a lead and get Kansas State into passing situations, you're really playing to the strength of the group. I know I've said it a number of times. You see the disguise, you see the blitz, you see the pocket start to collapse around Klein. He tries to improvise and dish it out to his running back for the check down. But after scoring, gaining the momentum, that's well done by the A&M defense.
Forcing a 3 and out from Kansas State. Touchback. Well, Texas A&M with a lead in the fourth quarter, as opposed to what has happened in the second half so many times for the Aggies. Those blown leads this season, 3 times in the second half.
A lot of people with lots of reasons why. Is it conditioning? Is it Mike Sherman's NFL system with not as much contact through practice? Is it a lack of focus? I don't think there's any one reason for it. And I think largely it's been the turnover game, unfortunately, in so many of those losses. And why they're ahead right now is they've taken better care of the ball and they're +2 in that ever-important stat of turnover ratio.
Ryan Tannehill from the shotgun, hitting the Cyrus Gray. 8-yard pickup on first down. Gray over 120 rushing yards to go along with a pair of touchdowns.
And for me, if I'm up in the booth and I'm talking to Mike Sherman, you're an up-tempo team, and that's fine. And you're still too early in this game to change your identity, but I'm handing that ball early and often to Gray.
He'll touch it again on second down. Gray moves the chains and more. Cyrus Gray could be gone. Cyrus Gray dragged down at the 10. Matthew Pearson manages to catch up with Gray.
And that's why you give it back. That gets stronger as the game evolves. More and more touches. Why you feature him. Look at Matthews. Jake Matthews once again locked up, driving Meshach Williams off the line of scrimmage. And that cut, that ever important, plant your foot, get north and south. What a big play. And just every time I see these carries late in the game, how can we not go back to our conversation with Mike Sherman that said this guy gets better with more touches?
63-yard rush for Cyrus Gray. First and goal, Texas A&M. Molina will get the carry on first and goal as Gray gets a much-needed break.
And those are some big hogs up front. One of the biggest offensive lines Texas A&M has ever had. So if you have a back that gets better as the game evolves, you have an offensive line that can start to lay on people and force their will, bigger, faster, stronger. Find a way to finish here in the second half, something you've been unable to do in big games earlier this season.
Gray has a shot at his 3rd touchdown run. Second and goal. He's back in next to Tannehill. Tannehill keeps it himself near the goal line, marked down just short. Latui makes a stop to make it 3rd goal.
Designed quarterback draw. Tannehill does his best job to be patient, to look downfield. Looks a lot like Colin Klein. Takes a pretty good blow. Just does not quite extend the ball out to score the touchdown.
Tannehill again on 3rd and goal. Sneaking. Apparently short, meaning 4th and goal coming. Ty Zimmerman stops Tannehill there.
You got to take the points, or you got to kick the field goal. If you're Mike Sherman in this place against Bill Snyder, in my opinion, you have got to take the 3 points here. Take a 10-point lead. especially against an offense like Kansas State that's not quick strike. This is the right call. You've got to get the points.
So from the 1, this would make this an 18-yard chip shot field goal for Randy Bullock to make it a 2-score game against the Kansas State team. 6:45, not a quick strike offense in general. Field goal is good. 2-score game now in the 4th quarter. 6:38 to go. So look at the clock and look at those timeouts. Both teams have all 3 timeouts remaining.
Cyrus Gray has been pretty good today. He's fast, he's athletic, he's strong, and there has just been no excessive wiggling and dancing. I can see why Mike Sherman said this guy gets better as the game goes on. He has a feel and a sense of those blockers in front of him, the patience that you need within that zone blocking, that run scheme, and the extra effort running through tackles. Many yards after contact to get to 185 on the day.
2 touchdowns for Cyrus Gray as well. Aggie fans were hoping that Cyrus Gray, like he did at the end of 2010, starting to shoulder the load more in the run game, get better with carries, as you said, getting more carries now with Michael out, and that is exactly what has happened for Mike Sherman and the Aggies today.
And that's why he was a focus point. When you go on the road in a big game, an opportunity to get to 6-4, as you just referenced, maybe a chance still at that Cotton Bowl. Well, play to your seniors, play to your strengths, and then do something you've not done really all year. -10 coming into the season in that turnover ratio. Win that battle. Well, you set yourself up with 6 minutes to go to get a mighty big win on the road.
Tomorrow, Sunday, the American Music Awards are live on ABC, 8/7 Central. Next Sunday, featuring performances by Katy Perry, Jennifer Lopez, Lil Wayne, Taylor Swift, and Pitbull.
Pardon me?
Pitbull will be there for the American Music Awards, November 20th, Sunday, 8/7 Central on ABC.
And what's Pitbull's big hit?
Google it.
It's called Google It.
No, I think that's your album yet to be released, Brock. Colin Klein on the first down. Dump it into the sideline.
Take a vicious blow.
Sean Porter laying another leg on Colin Klein. It's amazing he just makes it through these games.
Well, look at the bandages on the elbows. I mean, every one of his games, if you've watched Colin Klein this year, does the right thing. Throw it away. Don't take the sack. When you're 66% of an offense, when the run game goes through you, you're going to take some punishment. Lots of ice baths this season, lots of bandages as well.
Down by 2 scores now. Kansas State facing 3rd and 10. That pass intended for Chris Harper. Folks around K-State say Colin Klein, when he's not in the classroom, on the practice field, or asleep, he is most of the time in the training room dealing with all of the blows that he takes as the running quarterback for K-State.
I've seen enough bandages to know now. I think going into the game, I'd recommend to Colin maybe some arm sleeves.
Or neck roll. On 3rd and 10, leading long, caught, first down, Kansas State. The true freshman, Curry Sexton, makes the grab.
A really nice job by Klein here of using his eyes. They go empty. He's throwing to a true freshman, and he buys enough time and throws one of the more accurate passes this afternoon in a big situation. This team is resilient. It's one thing they have been all year long, and you're against it. You're down 10 with 6 minutes to go, 3rd and 10. This team will continue to fight.
After a 27-yard pickup, Wildcats nearing midfield. Klein wants it all. Harper behind the defense. Hauls it in. Touchdown, Kansas State. We're back to a 1-score game with 5:49 to go. Somehow, someway, Kansas State always takes it to the wire.
And so much for that no quick strike in your offensive scheme. Chris Harper outside with the post route, and Colin Klein staying tough and delivering through the contact. Before that play, you go into it as a defensive staff and you're telling your kids, don't give up the big play. Everything in front of you. Dustin Harris gets lackadaisical. Harper runs right by him.
Converting on 3rd down and 10. And in the touchdown from Klein to Chris Harper. 5:49 to go. A ball game again in the Little Apple, Manhattan, Kansas. Just when you think they're out, the Wildcats find a way to pull themselves back in. And who would have thought that Colin Klein has more passing yards than Ryan Tannehill?
Career day. Last week he set a career best in Stillwater, 231 yards. He betters that today with 257. But more importantly, 3 more rushing touchdowns to give him 22 on the season. In a conference with Brandon Weeden and Landry Jones and Robert Griffin and Ryan Tannehill, no one ever mentions Colin Klein in the same breath in the same conversation. As far as how much he means to his team, well, I think he's right up there with a Robert Griffin as far as his MVP impact.
Harris to the 25 for Texas A&M. Klein has accounted for 4 touchdowns today, 3 rushing touchdowns and 1 passing touchdown after he guided Kansas State back a week ago against Oklahoma State, took the Cowboys right down to the wire in Stillwater. 5:41 to go here in Manhattan. Bill Snyder Family Stadium is rocking.
Time to run the football, and we talked about that play action pass. You run it 185 yards on the ground. Look for some run and play action pass down.
Gray on 1st down. Minimal gain. There's Alan Chapman with another tough tackle.
This is, I think, where you still have to be patient if you're Mike Sherman. Even though it's a 2-yard gain, continue to feature your stud running back.
Tannehill straight drop to the air. It is incomplete. And there is Alan Chapman again, knocking it away from Wachaku.
He and Nigel Malone, 24 on the other side, both played their ball last year at the City College of San Francisco. And as this year has emerged, Chapman had a pick-6 a week ago. We've seen him tackle well. And they're starting to sit on top of these routes.
Tannehill on 3rd and 9, finds Cyrus Gray. The pass is incomplete. 4th down coming for the Aggies with exactly 5 minutes remaining in the 4th.
Look at how much time you did not take off the clock. 3 timeouts to Kansas State, a team that's built to possess the ball. You're giving it right back to them after they just drove right down the field for the touchdown. You got a ball game.
As expected in Manhattan. Good punt by Epperson. That's Jermaine Thompson inside the 20. Thompson tripped up as he crosses the 30. Kansas State has been here before this season, beginning September 24th at Miami, the goal line stop. Then again against Baylor here at Bill Snyder Family Stadium. Volker knocks it down. And then a week ago in Stillwater, Klein to the end zone. That the lone loss for Kansas State in games that have gone down to the very end. 5 of 7 games won by 7 points or less. So, Brock, what's the key in the last 4:49 for the Wildcats?
To play the game exactly the way you've played it all year, and that's be disciplined. And one thing Bill Snyder does so well is put his team through these situations as they get ready for each and every game.
There is another injured Wildcat on the field. That's Jared Milo. And while the Training staff tends to Jared Milo, and now he's back up on his feet, thankfully. Soon to be on his feet, thankfully.
What I mean by situations is you work through them in a practice week. Okay, you need a scoring drive, 2 minutes to go. Okay, it's 4-minute drill. Okay, it's short yardage. Okay, it's goal line. It's all of those situations. In particular with Bill Snyder and his staff, their attention to detail in these moments really shines, and that's why his team, that graphic really showcased, does so well in these situations. They're prepared, they've planned for it, they know how to execute and how to finish.
From the 32, Klein looking to throw on first down. Klein looking downfield for Smith. Incomplete, flag down. Lionel Smith tangled up with Sheldon Smith.
It's too much contact. Lionel Smith in the end zone earlier. Pass interference. When you get your hands all over those guys running in the open field.
Pass interference. Defense, number 3. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
So you got to trust your abilities because those referees and those back judges are looking for that contact. And Smith, a senior, very capable. You see the athleticism. You're all over him. You're grabbing jerseys, and that's too easy a call.
College football 15-yard penalty on a pass interference, unlike the NFL where it's a spot foul. So the ball moves up to the 47 for Kansas State. Pressure coming. Klein heaves it long again for Sheldon Smith behind the defense, but just a bit long for Sheldon Smith.
That's built on Colin Klein extending the play. That's why these shots down the field, why these defenders for A&M have got to have much better awareness. You're playing against a quarterback. It's a little bit unorthodox. Going to hitch 4 or 5 times. You better stick with your men down the field. Very nearly back-to-back deep touchdowns where you just lose focus on the back end defensively.
Kansas State playing without its biggest deep threat, Tyler Lockett, true freshman, out for the year. Lacerated kidney. There's a face mask on Sexton, and multiple flags are down. Sexton thankfully hops back up on his feet, but that'll be 15 yards, automatic first down. Penalties adding up. 8 now against Texas A&M, against 1 for Kansas State.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense, number 45. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
That's the junior college transfer, Steve Jenkins. That's dangerous.
That's scary. Kansas State has nearly as many yards off of penalties from Texas A&M as they do rush yards. 77 off of penalties versus 79 rushing yards before this play from Klein.
Here's your 4-minute drill if you're Kansas State. You want to use this time, this clock. You want to win on this drive, ultimately. You want to, and with an offense built to do it, an offense that's built to get in, out of huddle, take your time, run that clock. Nothing more than trying to use first downs, use your big quarterback who's already scored 3 touchdowns on the ground today.
Klein handing off to Hubert. Trying to get around here down the stretch play. Maybe a couple to bring up 3rd down. 3rd and 5. Spencer Neely, whose father Ed started basketball here at Kansas State, on the stop there on Hubert.
Did you see Hubert there secure the ball with 2 hands as he started to turn that corner and get upfield? A very manageable 3rd down situation.
Klein on the draw on 3rd and 5. Wrestled down by Jared Eddy. 4th down coming for Kansas State. Anthony Cantelli, the junior from Wichita, Kansas. This is well within his range. So if Kansas State elects to kick the field goal,
oh, you've got to kick the field goal. You've got all 3 timeouts left now at this juncture. He kicked, what, a 54-yarder?
Versus Oklahoma. He also has a game-winning 31-yarder versus Baylor.
Look at the flags on the uprights. The wind has settled down just a little bit. Was blowing through here up to 30-mile gusts earlier. This is the right call.
44-yard attempt from Anthony Cantelli. The 44-yarder is good. Tied 31-all with 2 minutes, 12 seconds to go. In the final Big 12 matchup between Texas A&M and Kansas State. They played a classic in the 1998 Big 12 championship game, so fitting that the last conference meeting between these two goes to the closing minutes.
The operation couldn't be any cleaner. Perfect snap, perfect hold. Cantelli, a game winner earlier this season. 54-yarders we just referenced. Lots of confidence in that kick.
We talked to Cantelli a couple weeks ago about the wind here at Bill Snyder Family Stadium, and one of the points he made is they practice on this field on a daily basis, so he gets very familiar with the shifting wind patterns. It does swirl around here in Manhattan. As you pointed out, Brock, no wind there, but Cantelli boots it straight ahead, 44-yarder. That does not mean that 5 minutes from now, if there's another kick, the wind might not be howling, because it can change in a second up here in Manhattan, Kansas. Harris from the goal line to the 22.
Using Parker in motion, and Butler takes him. They'll look for Parker on a quick hit. Parker, touchback, 10, 5, end zone out of bounds. Touchdown, touchdown, got it, touchdown. The Aggies upset Kansas State.
Sir Parker leading that Aggie comeback against Kansas State in the Big 12 championship game in 1998. Aggies were down by 15 heading into the 4th. Here it's Kansas State trailing by 10 in the 4th, who's come back to tie it with 2:06 to go. 3 timeouts for both sides. Gray on first down to the 30.
2 minutes and 3 timeouts is an eternity. All you need is a field goal. Your whole playbook wide open to you right now if you're Mike Sherman.
Looking ahead to Texas A&M's kicker, Randy Bullock, career-long 47. Correction, season-long 47, meaning the Aggies would need to get to the 30-yard line. Earlier, he missed a 50-yard kick. Gray moves the chains, 1st and 10 at the 35.
The benefits of being an up-tempo system, no huddle group as A&M is, you should flourish in moments like these.
That's Bullock, again, the season-high 47. In Windy Norman a week ago, missed a couple kicks. Wind was blowing when he missed that 50-yarder earlier today here in Manhattan. They need to get to at least the 35 for the chance. Ryan Swope manages to get to A&M's own 42.
Here's your chance if you're Ryan Tannehill this season. You're the senior quarterback with NFL aspirations. You've done a lot of wonderful things in your 16 starts as a quarterback, but these are the moments you live for. These are the drives you put together to get your team to 6-4 and finish this team in this season strong.
Gray stood up, 3rd and short coming. In what would certainly be 4-down territory for Texas A&M. Or would you say certainly, Brock?
No, I don't think so by any means. I think if you don't get it, and depending on the down and distance, you may be looking, Carter, one of our first overtimes this season.
And a reminder in the Big 12 standings, Kansas State at 4-2 in 3rd place. Texas A&M right now 4-4, and 3-3 rather, 5-4 on the year. If Oklahoma State goes on to play for the national championship, or even if Oklahoma come from that 6th spot all the way up to 2, which is still a possibility. You could potentially have 2 teams from the Big 12 going to the BCS, meaning that Texas A&M and Kansas State, 2 of the possible representatives in the Cotton Bowl.
Here's a situation where I believe you've called 2 plays. You've called your 3rd and 1 play, and when you get it, you make sure you then get to the line and have that 2nd play ready to go.
Texas A&M has converted only once this season on 4th down, so a critical 3rd and 1. Tannehill drops on 3rd and 1 to the sideline, and it is incomplete, and that is Nehemiah Hicks, who has now dropped 3 balls, and all 3 would have been huge for the Aggies. All 3 potentially touchdowns for the Aggies.
And a gutsy call, and I love the call for Mike Sherman. You've got a veteran senior quarterback, a redshirt senior who you trust in his decision-making. You fake the run, you get exactly what you want. You get Hicks open on the corner route. And unfortunately, you see him down on the ground. So often those receivers, instead of running through the pass, they feel how open they are. They start to backpedal. They get out of the rhythm and timing of that play. Tannehill buys time. The underneath coverage does its job. And as you see Hicks there, just start to backpedal. Instead of just staying your course and you run through that ball, you may have run it all the way into the end zone. You're so desperate to make that play that you start to backpedal. You lose your footing. And unfortunately, you don't move the chains. Just take a look at the route. This is a corner route. And they take away the spot route underneath it. Just stay to your route. Just stay on your corner route. That ball's going to hit you in stride. And it's going to be a foot race to the end zone. Instead, you lose some focus and concentration. You backpedal. You stick one hand up. And you don't find a way to make that huge play that you need if you're Texas A&M.
4th and 1, Epperson punts. Thompson will let it hit inside the 5. It will be a touchback. Kansas State football at the 20. 3 timeouts, 49 seconds here in the 4th. Texas A&M trying to become bowl eligible with a 6th win this season. Kansas State trying to get an 8th win in a season for the first time since they won the Big 12 title in 2003. So 49 seconds, 3 timeouts for Kansas State. Anthony Cantelli, the kicker, 54-yarder versus Oklahoma. So that's getting to right around the 35-yard line for Cantelli to have a chance.
With 80 yards to go for a touchdown, roughly 50 or so for a field goal, Bill Snyder decides to play it conservatively, decides to look at his offense, the way that this game has gone in the second half, to take those 3 timeouts with you to the end of regulation. And he likes his chances better from 25 yards and in with a sledgehammer of a quarterback. At home, on the road, I don't know if you make this decision, but you're playing at home where your record has been so good, playing conservatively to take this game into an extra frame.
So the teams who went to double overtime back in 1998 in the Big 12 title game, meeting for the final time as Big 12 opponents at the end of 4 quarters in Manhattan, Kansas. Even at 31, we are headed to overtime between the Aggies of Texas A&M and 14th ranked Kansas State. Texas A&M has not defeated Kansas State since 2005. As we look at our overtime